how do we feel about Georgia? And you talk about holes in your game. Let's start with Stetson Bennett. Do we think he has holes in his game? Or do we think they have holes in their offense?
Go ahead, Clint. I'll let you go first.
I don't know if he has holes in his game as much as his bowl ain't very deep. You know what I mean? He just ain't, like, his ceiling's so low. It's like, you know, I mean, whether we're talking about, I know some folks, I ain't gonna say George's name, but I know some folks want to talk about Stetson Bennett's legs last year. Like, Stetson Bennett's legs ain't doing a damn thing when it comes down to it. But I mean, look, he's got an extremely low ceiling. I mean, when we talk about Georgia, we're not talking about Stetson Bennett unless we're talking about the Good Morning America interview that he had after the national championship game, right, which was shit legends are made of. I absolutely loved it. There. Oh, it was so beautiful. But look,
Michael, did you see that? Michael, did you see?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Where two or three times he said, my man said, what was the question again?
We enjoy. Hey guys, we're not talking about Stetson Bennett, man. I mean, and
here's the thing. The question with Georgia that we're asking is, how do you replace the talent that you lost on the defensive side of the ball? And then, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but have you seen George Pickens in the Steelers camp? Because imagine if they had actually used him.
Yeah.
Or if he got himself out there. Remember, he was out for quite a while injury-wise.
He was hurt, but they also didn't throw him the ball.
That's also true. But then it goes back to the signal caller where I think we need to come on back to this Stetson Bennett thing. We need to have a real conversation.
You know what? We're gonna move forward. We're gonna circle back. So we do think that we all agree. Let's just do hands. Do we think that Georgia is number 2 in this conference?
Oh, yeah. Number 2 in the conference?
Number 2 in the conference. Okay, so let's move forward. We're going to move forward. We're going to get to some – so if Georgia's number 2, let's start in the West.
So wait. We need to touch – we're going to circle back on this Stetson Bennett thing with Georgia later?
Oh, we're going to circle back because we're going to talk about the quarterbacks in this conference. So we're going to circle back to Stetson Bennett. We're going to talk about these quarterbacks. But I got to keep it moving, man. Listen, I got the
Clint, my man keeping it tidy, ain't he? Keeping it
straight. Yeah, but Mike, we're talking about Georgia here. Mike, we're talking.
We gotta give Georgia. That's the national champ. We ain't got time for Georgia.
Look, Mike, let me hit you with this real quick, and then you tell me to go to hell, and we can move on. Here's the deal: when you ask me the question, and it's gonna come back to Stetson. When you ask me the question, can Kirby Smart replace the 8 dudes that he lost on the defensive side of the football? And can he stay national championship contention, SEC championship contention, like a top 1 or 2 or maybe 3 programs in the country, right? Now,
the answer is no.
But check it out, though, Mike. 5 of those draft picks that he lost, 5 of the 8 were first rounders. Guess what side of the ball they were on? All defense.
Yeah.
So here's the deal is first of all, we give Kirby too much damn respect. Like, Kirby's rebuilding. He ain't reloading. He ain't proved he can reload yet. He's rebuilding, right? And here's the thing. Here's the difference is not only do you have to replace 8, 5 of which were first rounders, 2 of which were third rounders on the defensive side of the football, but you got a stagnant-ass offense with Stetson Bennett running the show. How are you going to overcome that and stay nationally relevant?
Well, you know what? Let's just stick on this damn Georgia point. We don't have to talk about them later. We can talk about them right now. Here's the reality. They lost the smartest college football player of the last decade.
Nakobe Dean.
Bingo, my man.
Dean. Yep.
Watching Nakobe Dean in the playoff, watching him call the orbit motion, orbit motion, say keep the blitz on.
Go ahead, Michael.
Because he knew. Nakobe Dean watched so much film that he knew orbit. You go. I'm staying. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sack Cade McNamara. Watching Nakobe Dean go from Michigan was like, oh, we're smart. We're cute. We're funny. We're going to have a running back lined up at the numbers, and then we'll motion them across. And then Nakobe Dean gets a tackle for loss. Watching Nakobe Dean in the national championship game was it Channing Tindall? When Channing Tindall got caught with his eyes in the backfield and Nakobe Dean had to stop Cameron Letu from catching a touchdown pass that would have got them within 1 score. And then the next play, he told Channing Tindall, he said, do your job. And then Channing Tindall goes and gets a sack of Bryce Young, which leads to a field goal instead of them scoring a touchdown. Nakobe Dean I don't care if he was drafted in the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, doesn't matter. The reality of it is he was the smartest player in college football. He knew what he was doing. This is a team that watched film. And the only reason Alabama beat them in the SEC championship game is because Alabama knew they watched film. So Alabama did a bunch of different stuff to confuse them. That tight bunch where Jamison Williams scored the touchdown, Alabama for the whole year. And remember, you guys brought up the Auburn game, right? Where they ran that tight bunch to create plays. Alabama in tight bunch, the thing that they did in tight bunch, they had one guy go out, one guy go in, one guy go up. And then they sometimes had one guy go out and then go back in. And then in the SEC championship game, they had, and you can see, if anyone goes back and watches it, you can see Georgia's safety run over the top. You can see the other safety take the over route. And then you can see Jamison Williams look like he's about to run the vertical. And then he bends it in behind. And then they hit him right behind the safety. It's over. But Georgia watched film. They know what they're doing. So I don't know how you replace that level of intelligence.
Here's what I would put to that, Felder, and you're on point with everything. And that's when you said the smartest football player last year. I was already with you on the Kobe Dean. He was quarterbacking. By the way, we call Georgia the White Walkers. I don't know if you're hip to the Game of Thrones.
I know about it.
Field and open space, the White Walkers. So my point on that is, Kobe Dean was in that linebacker room with some youngsters who were with him every day.
They learned.
They learned. They watched his patterns. And you best believe a leader like that, just like what Alabama has, what Clint was saying with young
Will Anderson.
And Will Anderson.
Yeah.
They're not just leading in a silo. They're taking everybody with them. Sit your ass down. This is how we do business. This is how we prepare. This is how we attack, et cetera, et cetera. Follow me. Everybody is doing that. And they got two guys like me. So best believe Nakobe Dean has left behind some apprentices that are going to also come up. And don't forget, the White Walkers, easily the best unit in college football we've probably seen in a handful of, since LSU's offense, is led by Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Kirby is still there.
Do you think losing Dan Lanning hurts?
Oh, no doubt. Anytime you have pillars and contributors to a great thing and you lose them, it hurts until the next crew comes in and defines themselves. And Clint's right.
Which I'm ready to talk. I can't wait to talk about Clemson because I'm very curious to see what that looks like.
Because Clint's right on this point. Georgia does have to reload. Alabama reloaded last year and wind up in the national championship.
Yeah.
They had a freshman quarterback, like 16 guys go to the draft, 3 more go as free agents. And then that was technically their reload year, and they wind up in the national championship.
Yeah.
That's coaching, that's tactical elements, that's pacing the team, playing within their limits. Playing within their realm. The first 6 weeks, and then week 7 through 12, you could expand some. Here comes the playoffs. Now we know who we are. So, but I will give you that. Georgia's going to be right there. And I don't think they're the second best team in the country, but they're certainly the second best team in this conference.
We've done almost half an hour.
That's gold. That's gold.
With just these two teams. But I have one more thing.
It's free.
Can you win with Ladd McConkey as your top receiver?
Well, I don't think he's their top receiver. I think the tight end is their top receiver.
Well,
he's going to wind up, we ain't talking enough about him.
Timeout. I love Brock Bowers. I think he's great. But you do know they have a receiver who is the same size as LeBron James, right? A tight end that's the same size as LeBron James.
Oh, yeah. So he was there last year. And still Bowers is the best dude they got. All respect. I get the LeBron-sized dude. All respect. Respect. His family's probably watching. Thank y'all for watching.
And by the way, They also have Eric Gilbert now, who was a leading receiver for LSU, or leading pass catcher for LSU, if you will. And so I just if you have Darnell Washington and you have Eric Gilbert, like, does this look like Michigan's offense now? You're running 13. You're running 13 personnel.
And I'll give it to Clint. I think you're gonna have some. They have some cheetahs and gazelles in there now. They do. We just haven't met them yet. We ain't met them yet.
Are we ever gonna meet them?
Oh yeah, we're gonna meet them. They will surface. We'll see them. They got interesting little first.
Clint, you're an SEC guy. Clint, you're an SEC guy. How much faith do you have that Georgia's going to open up their offense?
None. With Stetson Bennett at quarterback? None. Not
that's
at all.
Two different questions, Mike Felder.
But gee, check it out. Here's the deal, man. I mean, before we came on this damn show, we just got through talking about Nick Saban and why he changed his ways. Because he realized, hey, I can be as good as I want on defense. I'm gonna come up against some offenses that are gonna put some numbers up. I got to go run some numbers up on offense.
Bingo.
So what in the hell makes us think that Kirby Smart all of a sudden is going to be able to go 2 tight ends? I don't care how good they are. 2-3 tight end sets, running the football with Stetson Bennett. And now if you got, because I'm going to tell you, that Georgia defense, it rivals that Alabama defense back in the day with
they were historical.
Ashawn Robinson and all in that crew.
Josh
to me,
Allen.
That's the best 2 defenses I've ever seen in my life. When I was about 4, I watched that Miami defense that was off the charts. You don't have that anymore. That offense works when you got them
Clint,
dogs that you had last year.
Let me ask you a question, Clint. Who's your favorite race car driver right now?
Race car driver. I don't know that I can give you one. You talking about NASCAR?
NASCAR, Indy.
Is Jeff Gordon still driving?
Probably not. Let's go Bubba Wallace.
Okay, I like Bubba.
Is Bubba Wallace still Bubba Wallace if he's driving the new electric Volkswagen?
No chance.
No chance. You are what your quarterback says you are. So you are what your quarterback says you are. So you're still technically Bubba Wallace. You can put the helmet on, the race suit on, but if you're getting into an electric Volkswagen, all respect to Volkswagen, and we would love that support here on Field as well.
Yes.
But you can, you may in your heart be a NASCAR driver. You may hop in there with your NASCAR suit on. You may say, let's go get 50 every night. Let's touch 120 on the speedometer. But if you have a Volkswagen going on right now, that's what you have in the driveway. That's it. You have G-Dub. Whether you got weapons, some weapons, nuclear weapons, the trigger man defines what you are. Am I right?
Stop it. G-Dub, with your Vince Young and Johnny Manziel jersey having ass, I cannot. I'm just here to tell you, man. Like, Stetson Bennett can drive a goddamn 82 Volkswagen if he wants to, if he's got that defense that he had last year. The game has changed, partner.
But you're saying Kirby Smart doesn't want to aspire to get past 24 points. And I'm saying
he doesn't.
What if he does? But what if he does? But you have Stetson Bennett as your quarterback. Ball control, management, customer service, like that.
None of that's getting you 24 plus in this league when it matters, bro. None of that. Stetson Bennett's ball control ain't getting you there.
But I'm asking you, is that him or is that his quarterback?
That's him.
Is that him? What if Caleb Williams transferred to Georgia instead of USC?
Oh, you mean like if Justin Fields had been there?
Well, Ollie,
you are
what
the
is?
Quarterback says you are.
Hell, if this was Fist, we'd all be drunk.
Listen,
I gotta get me a drink. This one, bitch, here, man.
Hang on. Let's not we do remember that Justin Fields was at Georgia.
No doubt.
And he was like, don't know what to do with this. I can't drive this Corvette. Give me the Camry.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. Well, that's a good that's I had something for you, Michael, but I was like, that ain't gonna hold up in this. So I just put that back.
That's all I'm saying.